Today's lesson is about random samples and surveys. We're going to identify what makes a good random sample, and we're also going to talk about what makes a good survey question. Okay, on our first page, a group of objects or people is known as a population. And a population can be anything you choose. It could be, for example, the students at JV. A population could be shoppers at a mall. It can also be a group of objects, so a population could even be marbles in a bag. Those are just a few examples. Whenever we want to know something about a population, we often cannot ask or cannot look at every member of the population because that would be very tedious and time consuming. So what we do is we take a sample. A sample is just a smaller part of the population. And it's important when we take a sample that we do it a certain way. We need to take what's called a random sample. And a random sample simply means that each member of the population has the same chance of being selected. So when we take a sample, it has to be a fair sample. We don't want to, say we were wanting to find out what kind of ice cream students at JV liked. If we just asked a group of our friends at the lunch table, that wouldn't be a good random sample because not every member of the population has the same chance of being selected. Only your friends have a chance of being selected for this survey, and so it makes it not a random sample. So in order for a sample to be random, every member has to have the same chance of being selected. So a good random sample might be that you're going to ask every 10th student who walks in the doors of the cafeteria, because every student at JV will be walking through the doors of the cafeteria or could be walking through the doors of the cafeteria, so every student has an equal chance of being selected. And we ask every 10th just because, again, it would be tedious to ask every single person. Sometimes random samples are done using a phone book, and if you were using a phone book, it wouldn't be a good random sample if you just picked the first 5 people in the phone book. A better random sample would be to choose the 10th person on every page of the phone book, something like that, to get your random sample. Okay, so back to this objective 1, identifying what makes a good random sample. Let's look at some examples. First, you survey customers at a mall. You want to know which stores they shop at the most, which sample is more likely to be random, and explain. Part A says you survey shoppers in a computer store, and Part B says you walk around the mall and survey shoppers. So you want to think which one of these two scenarios gives every person an equal chance of being selected. And that works out to be Part B. Part A, if you survey shoppers in a computer store, not all customers at a mall, because that's our population, not all customers at the mall have an equal chance of being selected. Only the shoppers in the computer store have a chance of being selected. So Part B is the correct answer, and you can put as your explanation simply because all customers have an equal chance of being selected. Let me just fix my E over here. Okay, try the next one. Think about what you think this one is. I don't think it's necessary to pause the video. I'll just give you a chance to think about it. We'll read it together. You survey a store's customers. You ask why they chose the store. Which sample is more likely to be random? And explain. So choice A is you survey 20 people at the entrance from 5 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. And choice B says you survey 20 people at the entrance throughout the day. Now think about which one of these choices gives people an equal chance of being selected. Okay, you should have chosen B. B is a more random sample than A because all customers have an equal chance of being selected. We're going to use the same wording that we used before. You don't have to be incredibly creative with this. All customers have an equal chance of being selected. Okay, and choice A would not be so good because you're looking at a very narrow range of time, just from 5 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. So you are excluding perhaps people who work evenings, who cannot come to the store during that time, and those people are also the store's customers. So that does not give everyone an equal chance of being selected. Okay, the other thing we need to consider when we're taking samples is if we're going to ask people a survey question, we have to be careful that we ask it in a fair way. And if it's not a fair question, it is a biased question. And a biased question is one that leads people to think a certain way. A biased question often includes opinions in the question rather than just sticking to the facts. So here are some examples. Is each question biased or fair? Explain. A. Do you think that soothing classical music is more pleasing than the loud, obnoxious pop music that teenagers listen to? We know from reading this question what the person who wrote it thinks about pop music that teenagers listen to. They think that it's obnoxious, and they think that classical music is soothing. So this is a biased question. Choice B says, which do you think is the most common age group of people who like pop music? There's nothing in this question to tell us what the person asking the question thinks the answer is, so this is a fair question. We have no adjectives, no wording of any kind that tells us what the person was thinking. Choice C, do you prefer classical music or pop music? Again, there's nothing in this question. There are no descriptive adjectives beyond the fact that classical music or pop music. There's two kinds, but it's not descriptive. It's not giving us a clue as to which the person prefers. So that one is a fair question. Okay, on the next page, I want you to pause the video and answer for yourself whether each question is biased or fair. If the question is biased, please explain why it is biased. If there are descriptive adjectives, you may want to underline or circle those adjectives and use that as part of your explanation. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, I hope you took time to figure these out on your own. Is each question biased or fair? Number 1 says, do you prefer greasy meat or healthy vegetables on your pizza? We can deduce that the person probably is saying that healthy vegetables are better. This is a biased question because it has descriptive adjectives, greasy and healthy. Number 2, which pizza topping do you like best? There's nothing there to convince us that any one topping is better than another, so that is a fair question. Do you prefer roller coasters or bumper cars? There's nothing there to tell us which we should prefer, so that is a fair question. Number 4 says, would you rather shop at Walmart or at an overpriced grocery store? The person asking this question obviously has an opinion that it's better to shop at Walmart than an overpriced grocery store, so this is a biased question. Number 5, would you rather sleep 8 hours and be alert the next day, or 6 hours and have memory problems? Okay? The person asking this question obviously thinks that sleeping for 6 hours is not a good thing because you're going to have memory problems because you didn't get enough sleep, so you're going to be a little foggy that day maybe. So there aren't so much just single descriptive adjectives, but this whole phrase, having memory problems and being alert. Well, what would you rather be? Would you rather be alert or have memory problems? Most people are going to want to be alert, so this question is biased. One way we could ask this question to make it not biased is just, would you rather sleep 8 hours or 6 hours? That would be a fair question. Number 6, do you prefer Pepsi or Coke? Nothing there to tell us what the person asking really thinks, so this is a fair question. Okay, your assignment, if you're in accelerated math, is on page 317. That's the green book. If you're in college prep or general math 7, that's the orange book, and your assignment is on page 283. Remember to put your heading on your paper, so we want name, date, class period, and the name of the assignment. So when you're listing the name of the assignment, you're just listing exactly what I have here. So you're going to say page 283, 1 to 28. That way, when you turn your paper in, especially if it's late, not turned in at the same time as other people's papers, I know what assignment it is and you will get full credit for it. All right, thank you for watching.